DuMont. Welcome back inside the crazy Ant-Man farm. 4 times, dude. 4 times.
That's right. 4 times the charm.
Yes.
That's the next Peter Berg movie. I got to do the 4th.
That's
like, 3 is just not enough.
No, 3 is just not enough. Yeah, man, we're
Glutton
super
for
excited.
What can I tell you?
Yeah. So, well, this is like, one, post-strike, so that's always fun. Yeah, finally good to be back doing some
Still
stuff
alive.
again. Still alive, that's right.
I'm still standing.
Oh, you went there. You went there. That's fantastic.
Like a true survivor.
Feeling like a little kid. There you go.
Feeling like a little kid,
yeah.
always.
And it's your first Zoom interview with us. So, yeah, the past has all been
Zoom,
audio.
Zoom,
but yeah.
Zoom with you guys, but I've been like Zooming since COVID.
That's right, man. That's right. It's the new norm. This is how we do it now.
Later.
Yeah.
It's how life is done.
Exactly. Well, it's good to see you this time, and we're super excited to talk to you. Got the new film out, Candy Cane Lane, which is really excited. Yeah, dude.
I went to the premiere last night. I saw it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. No, it looks.
I'm not like surprised, but it was one of these things where it's like, I mean, we're just so in need of a Christmas magic movie that's not a Lifetime, like really the divorced, woman moves back to her hometown and meets the guy from high school and the one that got away. It's like, no.
Yeah, no.
And it's Eddie Murphy. It's like Eddie Murphy, family, Christmas comedy. Trifecta, bro. Like you're done. You know what I mean?
Without doubt.
And then it's funny, and then you got like Nick Offerman in there, and you got Industrial Light and Magic doing really great, like special effects stuff and really good performances in there. I'm working opposite Tracee Ellis Ross playing her boss, and she was awesome. Like talk about someone who's quick and facile. It's like I was like, she just didn't know what she was in for.
Yeah,
she's like, I don't know who's this fat bald guy. What's the story? And I'm like. I deal with the likes of Danny McBride, John Goodman. Like, there's nothing you can throw at me that I'm not going to be ready for.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact that I get to work with Reggie Hudlin again, I worked with him on Safety for Disney Plus.
Right.
And we just got a shorthand now. Like, he directed Peter Berg and Samuel Jackson in The Great White Hype. So every time that I'm together, and I forgot to do it last night because I just wanted to, leave him alone and let him do his director thing. But we usually take a picture together and I send it to Peter Berg. They're like, Reggie. So there's this like 6 degrees of Peter Berg kind of going on. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And
so I watched the movie last night and it's fantastic. It's one of those things where you're going to watch it like, it could be one of those cult Christmas movies, and you got the Christmas bad girl, you got the bad guy and, it's got all the elements, and then a dad trying to do the best thing, and not embarrass your kids, but also kind of show, and I think like the worst language in there is like ass. I think that's about as good as it gets. So you kind of like, all right, anybody can kind of watch this,
Yeah.
And there's enough, like it's kind of fills all the demographics. Like there's a couple of jokes and stuff in there that are 100% for the adults. No two ways about it. We'll go right over the kids' head. They don't even get the references. And then there's stuff for teens, and it's good. It's funny. It's a very funny movie.
I feel like there hasn't really been a lot of theatrical Christmas movies that have come out the past couple years, but I will give that to the streamers, right? I feel like they have been really good about providing us with a lot of good holiday movies, and I feel like this one is lined up to be a classic because like you said, it's hilarious.
There's no reason Amazon is investing these kind of resources and I mean just the ILM, including ILM in this thing. People do all those stuff for Star Wars and that's and the fact that we did this movie in 9 months, that's another like amazing thing. This cast, all the technical stuff of it. But it's MGM, it's Imagine Entertainment. You got Brian Grazer, Ron Howard.
Yep.
And then you have Amazon and the reach of Amazon and the fact that they're doing something different that I think is really smart. This is kind of the new hybrid, which is releasing the film theatrically, and they did it in New York and LA, in one theater in New York and LA, and both sold out from the minute they did it. Because it's also like, I saw Napoleon. This is funnier
Yeah.
than Napoleon, and Napoleon's
yeah.
pretty funny. I'll just let it. Napoleon is. There are funny moments that you're
There
like,
are.
wow,
There are, sure.
wow, a few cringe moments, but for the most part, good, and a good little history lesson. I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But like this is funnier.
Yeah.
Funnier than Napoleon.
There you go. There's the promo right there.
Put that on the marquee,
So let's tell everybody what it's about, though, because it's an interesting premise. So, and I think everybody actually goes through this at some point in their life if you're into Christmas. It's about a neighborhood competing. Yeah. Like, who's going to have the best decorations, right?
It's based on a real neighborhood in El Segundo.
Yep.
A wonderful writer named Kelly Younger. I'm familiar with his work for years. My theater company produced his plays. So it was really like another kind of weird full circle thing in terms of like, I started a theater company from members of a New York company in LA back in 92. And, I was an artistic director and we did, hundreds of play readings and stuff. And Kelly's work just, was like one of those writers that just kind of popped up along with a bunch of other writers. And so it was just this weird like kismet of like Kelly Younger, holy moly. And he's like, James, EST, like we just kind of connected the dots.
Yeah.
So, the premise is that, there is a real neighborhood in El Segundo that like does that one-upsmanship. Just kind of like, like one kind of, keeping up with the Joneses, like
exactly.
So it has that kind of like competition element to it, who has the most money, who has the most, and so there is this, and then of course at the end of the day, there's that family thing of like, look, individually it's not going to work out. Collectively as a family, this is how life is done.
Right.
That's a dual thing that I think is like really kind of timely right now. I mean, so many people came out of that screening last night going, thank you. We need this movie so badly right now. Because again, we're in the middle of, two wars that are going on. It's sad that we're at a time where people that are trying to gain power are pointing out all the things that we have that are different. And no one's talking about the things that we have in common.
That's right.
I'm always, when I'm coaching people, I'm always kind of going like, you have to look for the human universals of the scene. What is this scene about? It's about family. What's this movie about? It's about family. It's about love. It's about competition. It's about expectations. It's about being a good father.
Yep.
It's about, keeping up with the Joneses. It's about, love, and so, there's that there. So I think it's coming at a time where we're so looking for something, a little bit of holiday magic.
That's right.
And to not so much point out the things that make each other different, because that's how weak people rule.
That's right.
Is they just point out, I'm a big, scientist is great. We have the same molecules in our body as each other. Like there's, let's go beyond race. Let's go beyond culture. Let's go beyond, colonization of, of the world, and that's really what this is what's the difference between an occupation and a colonization? It's
right. Yeah.
So, for me, it's like, I think this is a nice little release gap,
right.
Just taking the air out of all the hyperbole of, the blues and the reds and the us's and the thems and the, talking about together, like I think
Yep.
we're coming off of Thanksgiving where it kind of reminds us, and again, I think if we look at historically, I think we talked about this before. It's like, coming off of the First World War was a world war and a pandemic. And on the other side of that was the Roaring 20s.
Right.
Some of the greatest pieces of literature were created, some of the greatest thinkers of our time, the greatest music, the greatest stories were told, the great musicians of that time, the Louis Armstrongs, we go down the list.
Yeah.
If you look, from that horrific, all of us facing death and a world war at the same time. And now we got two wars going on at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And we just got off a pandemic and there's other little crazy little, germs working its way all over the world. It's like from that, you know, Phoenix from the ashes can be some great creative stuff.
Sure.
And I think Kelly really wrote a really great script that, and it's so funny, the Amazon exec, he's like, I remember when he walked into our office during COVID, we're all wearing masks, and he did his pitch. And he talked about this neighborhood in El Segundo that, you know, they try to compete with each other, and it just kind of gets out of hand. And then it's like, and Eddie Murphy is the dad. It's like, you know, he's vindictive, and he's trying to, you know, he wants to win, and he wants to, you know, show to his kids what, you know, what it's like to, you know, to be a winner in life, you know.
Yeah.
And just want to live, you know.
So yeah.
And so again, I think it's just coming at a really good time, you know.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things where I feel like, again, the irony is I was at the exact same theater I was for my last big huge premiere, which was Spencer Confidential.
Right.
And that movie, like, we did that premiere, and then the fucking world went indoors. Like, the world when it like hunkered, that the entire planet went indoors.
Yeah.
And that movie is only like 87 minutes long, but like people watched it like 300 hours worth of that.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like everybody could watch it, and it's a feel good movie. And so you're like, you know, again, I'm feeling so fortunate that it's coming at a time where everybody's like, this is what we need right now.
Absolutely.
You know? A movie where everybody can watch it together and nobody's really offended, and, you know, the jokes are good, you know, for each different age category. You know what I mean? It's not.
Well, and I love the premise of how they work in the bad guy, though. I mean, who doesn't want to see Eddie Murphy versus an evil elf, right?
Always.
Signing over his life to the evil elf unexpectedly,
exactly.
you know.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, no, everything's fine, you know. And then the idea
like,
of
I gotta win.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah, there's a downside, and there's just great. Like, it's just fun. It just was super fun. I laughed out loud. I had a great time. The feeling that people have coming out is fantastic. There's some performances in there where, like, some people really pop, like they steal the goddamn movie. I mean, they just steal it.
That's awesome.
And there's really great performances in there all the way through. And the family is great and fun, and Eddie's great, and Tracee and Eddie that's a really good, you know, she's coming off of Blackish, where she really knows how to, like, work all, you know, be the great, you know, the great mom who holds her own, but, you know, still knows that, okay, I'm going to let the man, you know, play his little guy, let him think he's in charge. That's all good. You know, it's like, so there is that, you know, there isn't even that even little Married with Children kind of, like, you know, that kind of like, oh yeah, go ahead. No, you know,
that's fantastic.
I got it. You know, I love you though, honey. It's good. You know, just do your thing. So yeah, there's just that, you know, I just like how it's coming at a good time, you know? For sure.
So, okay, I have to ask. So how did you, well, because you made the connection with the writer and all the kind of stuff. So did you have to audition for it? Was it just something that?
I had a cool thing happen where Reggie and I just we work very well together.
Right.
Like it's almost like another Peter Berg kind of fit. You know.
Right.
Oftentimes, he gets an idea. He's about to pitch the idea, and I finish the sentence. So it's like we're already like, and I do that with Peter Berg all the time.
Sure.
Like Peter will go, well, and I go, no, I was thinking about blah blah blah, and you go, oh, do that. So it's like it kind of like works super fast. And you know, the big thing is, I came in the last 2 days of shooting. They kind of pushed things back because one thing or another, and people got sick, and they had to shut down, and you know, it was just so I came in the last 2 days of shooting where I feel like they everybody was kind of tired.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it took 3 hours to set our shots up, you know, but I came in and did my work in 20 minutes.
Oh.
You know, and Reggie's like, you're an assassin, man. Like, you come in here, like we spent hours getting this ready, and you come in and like, bing, 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 bing. And I was like, dude, I'm coming off of Gemstones where we do 3 camera and 6 camera.
Yeah.
You know, It's like, you know, when you're knocking out, you know, 5 episodes in 10 days,
right?
You know, or you're doing crowd scenes and you have 10 to 12 cameras. It's like,
yeah,
this 2 camera pickup establishment of these people. This is play day for me. This is a field. This is a bag of cards. You know, like, it's just like, hey, forget about it. You know, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But you know, but then he goes, that's why, and he's like, that's why we're always going to be working together. You know, it's one of these things where it's like you time is money. You're coming in. This is the end of the shoot. People are tired. They want to, Eddie was already wrapped by the second to last day, or the last day, I think. And so, that was pretty much it. So when I've said this before, I feel like sometimes I'm coming in like I'm the closer in baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to throw 3 mediums, 3 masters, 3 close-ups,
right,
and get out of the inning. You know what I mean? And so, if I can do 3-3-3 and I'm good, And also, I think Tracee knew that they set my character up talking about me early in the story, that it turns out that, they set me up so well that when it came to shooting my thing, she knew that it was really more about establishing me as the character, because she's got her stuff, but it's really all about, now we have to establish his shots. So she was very cool in that regard, for having be on the last 2 days of shooting. And we just had a good rapport. We can improv, we could do stuff. I said, how married are you to the script? Kelly's like, no. These are the most important things. You guys do whatever you need. Reggie, the same thing. So, we had this kind of, we were able to play. And for me, that's the joy. Same thing with Gemstones. It's like we've been picked up for season 4. So we got lucky, which is the writers, put their scripts into HBO like a week before the strike.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
And then the next day, HBO, we kind of got a verbal from HBO. Danny wants to go long, like 10 seasons. He's down.
Okay.
So, but HBO, that wasn't official, but we were kind of told, like, and they even said to my son, it's like, dude, you think going to military school is going to be good. Like this next season, we got a whole crazy stuff in store for you. And I'm like, my son's like, what is this gonna be?
Oh my goodness.
So, so we don't know what it's going to be, but we know that they put the scripts in a week before the strike. And then the next day, HBO made it official. So we knew we had a 4th season. We're not going to start I don't think we're going to probably start till May or June, which is always kind of, it's like hot over there in Charleston. But there has been talk about trying to maybe push and do 2 seasons back to back, which is what they did one time with Vice Principals. I mean, these guys are super organized. They know how to work. So, we're all kind of in a waiting pattern right now. I periodically I'm very mindful and respectful of John Goodman. I'm like, Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving, happy birthday. It's like, see you on set. Like, leave it at that. You know what I mean?
Oh, without doubt.
And then, of course, I reach out to other cast members, and I'm like, so did you hear anything? Like, Tony, what's going on? Like, Adam, what's happening?
That's right.
So we, we just got very fortunate to have, gotten the material. They got what they needed. They kind of knew what were pitched what the 4th season was, but all the scripts were turned in before the strike. So
yeah, that's good.
Danny's been doing this for a while, and this is kind of a well-oiled machine. So I know I got that coming up. I also did this movie, Unit 234. This is a nice little thriller. Isabella Hoffman, from Orphans, and then Don Johnson, who.
That little 80s, show, Miami 80s, Vice,
80s television star Don Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's right.
On the carpet. I was on the carpet, and somebody said, who's on your nice list and who's on your naughty list? And I was like, well, if we're being honest.
Going back to, being prepared, better than anyone else, because like we've mentioned at the top of the show, you've been on here multiple times, and this show is built off of helping the up-and-comers break into the entertainment industry. Right. So to be that prepared and to just be that easygoing, free-flowing, collaborative spirit, I think is so important that I feel like a lot of people, they get more in their heads about, because they get in, they're like, oh man, I only have this amount of dialogue or this many days or whatever, what have you. And they get in their head to where they kind of stall things, maybe a little unintentionally, but I mean, it's always good to be prepared and be able to make everybody's lives easier, because in return, that makes your life easier. And everybody just enjoys working with you.
Everybody
and
wins.
Like you said, going back to, we'll keep working together. I'll bring you on to that next project, and that's how you build relationships. Because man, I'm just not gonna lie about it. I feel like you know everyone in Hollywood because everyone loves you and they love working with you because you're always fucking prepared, and that's what we love about you. And you're always down to fucking pass along that piece of advice because we know you're a teacher as well, doing your thing.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm trying to raise the next generation of actors too. And that next generation may be actors in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
right. You never know.
One of my students is a 74-year-old retired judge.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. Some people that are like psychiatrists coming at this. They wanted to do it all, raise kids, and they finally get to do what they want to do. And I go, but I prepare them and train them to go from self-tape to set.
Right.
And I give them notes or directions of what the kind of notes or directions that they may get on set.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I'm duplicating and replicating what is industry standard.
Mm.
If people are doing other things to make money or to fill classes or to make people confused,
yeah,
that's just poison for our business.
Exactly.
It lends itself to things like not working opposite the other actor in a scene. To
that's right.
The arrogance of doing all your stuff and getting up and walking across and sitting in a chair and telling stories with the producer when you should be working with your opposite actor right in front. Like I don't understand. Now I understand that there later in Bruce Willis's career that was a standard thing, and now we understand why that is.
Right.
It was a brain synapse. If that's what we find out about Don Johnson, then then I'm an asshole. But I go, that's just it's poisonous to the collaborative process. So for me, exactly what you say is I think many people go into this for some of the wrong reasons. And
Absolutely.
I'll say even when I got into this, I would probably say some of the wrong reasons was, I just want love and acceptance from my father.
Right.
And so, but I found this community and I found this thing and I found this way to communicate, or I found the way to influence and affect people in a way that I probably couldn't have affected him.
Right.
Mm.
But I found that gave me a sense of satisfaction, a sense of worth, a sense of value. And so it might not have been the best psychological reasons for doing it.
Right.
But then inherently within that, I found my own kind of voice and I found my own way to express myself. And I found a sense of a power and identity. I've been working on developing my one-man show again because now my daughter is, raised and went to college, went to Cornell and graduated and works for Dartmouth and has a full-time job and
Congratulations.
Lives in a house and has a car. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah.
I didn't finish my one-man show because I was going to spend the next 21 years raising her.
Right.
So now, 22 years later, I'm just dusting off this old thing about being a DJ. And there was something about, it's a very personal story. And it was something about, I figured out early on that if I put this piece of music on, it could affect people in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, acting is 100% a bigger, greater satisfaction of that. But as we know, like, you put on a certain song and you and I we could put one song on and you go, oh man, I remember where I was in this car. We were all getting high. We went to this like drive-in. Like that song, or that's the song I got laid to, or that's the song at my wedding, or like, so there's something about art and music that has this indelible picture in our minds.
Definitely.
And so I think, we're at a time where people are creating for attention and not necessarily creating for intention.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're creating because you want likes and you want acknowledgement and you want and really, what are you influencing? Are you influencing policy in two wars?
Yeah.
Right.
Or you just pimping out brands?
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
I don't think that's influence at all. I think that's just marketing and attention.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of like what Bob Iger said a while ago recently, where he was just like,
say
quality
anything positive about Bob Iger?
Quality over quantity.
Fuck that
which
guy.
I mean,
He's a failure.
all of the entertainment executives, I feel like, should be focusing this way anyway, but in a sense to where it kind of, the whole entertainment industry, I felt like, switched to like that social media instant gratification
Correct.
with the
Correct.
nonstop, you know, and
That
I
you're not
really
telling a
hope
story,
that
you're
stuff
just
switches.
getting attention.
Right.
You're
Exactly.
not really a storyteller. It's edutainment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're just looking for what bleeds leads.
Exactly.
And so, but I do want to say this in terms of the executives.
Yeah.
I think the shareholders of all that, I just would love to do it here because I said it all through the spread. I think the shareholders of all of these multi-billion-dollar companies should replace these CEOs with artificial intelligence.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
It doesn't require any human contact. The bottom line is you'll save 200, 300 million in salary. If it's about numbers, if it's about likes, if it's about views, that's not a human factor at all, and that's not storytelling. That's just basic accounting.
That's exactly
which can
right.
be done through artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So rather than try to replace the storyteller of the human condition with AI, do it with the executive. Do it with the non-human. They're not in a human thing.
Right.
The fact that, again, I'm not gonna, I could go on.
I feel like you could.
There's certain companies that never sent a representative to the negotiating table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And they have something to do with these things
Yeah.
and things that are delivered to your home.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not their business.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they
You're
didn't
right.
send anybody to do business because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so, and they're very, very kind to me and very generous, but I had to fight for it. I had to negotiate for it.
Right.
I had to ask for it.
Yeah.
It should be a given, but I have to fight for those things.
Well, I
So
think you
point being is
nailed
that
it.
I think it's the smartest, most economic way to do this is CEOs do not require human beings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you
Storytellers
nailed
do.
it when you said that, though, about like the ones that didn't, because I feel like that's when Hollywood got in trouble, is when these big corporate buyouts of the studios started happening, and the people in charge were no longer film guys, people that loved the world.
They're accountants.
They're accountants. They're money
lawyers.
people. It became about the money instead of about the product, about the content,
And
about
they
the
saw
story.
a way in which to go, how can we figure out a way to do it now? But that's just, honestly, that's just American.
Exactly.
This
You're right.
is American capitalist view.
Yeah.
They did. This is no different than being the auto industry.
Yep.
Like, how can we make a machine that puts together that body of a car body without having to have it 5 people with a pension and a health and
Right.
the risks that go along with that.
Yeah.
If we can figure an automated way to do that, and they have, we're replacing human beings with technology that that's going to be part of the thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're right. I think once we've made strange bedfellows with those who this is not their business model,
Exactly.
and they're 80% of their income is derived from computers or phones or delivering, having human beings deliver packages for your company in their own personal cars now. So they're
Right.
not full-time employees paying for their own
Exactly.
gas. It's like Uber. It's like Uber delivery.
Yeah.
But now it's just on a bigger scale.
Yep.
So, way to go! You figured out how to increase your profits and cut costs.
Yeah.
And when you're struggling and you can't find a job, and this is and there's the assembly line is there and Christmas is around the corner. I get it. Doesn't necessarily make it right. It is business. It is part of that. But I think you're right. I think once we've made strange bedfellows with the tech industry, they apply the same capitalist view, which is increase profits, cut costs, and pay our shareholders, and then influence policy so we pay as little taxes as possible.
Yep.
Right.
And get the government to subsidize our technologies.
Yep.
Like it's like the medical, so if that's the game and that's afoot, but they're not in the entertainment business.
Exactly.
This is not what their business model is.
Exactly.
And so the people who were at the table were the ones that had the most to lose. Like we're in the content, we're Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
we're HBO, we're Paramount, we're CBS, NBC, Universal, we're Fox, we're Disney.
Yeah.
Like our money is based on, like, we need people
Yeah.
to buy our content. We billions of hours were burned through COVID. We have to replace those things. So it's like we have to feed that animal.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Exactly.
we're not going to survive. So the people who had the most, the vested interests were the ones that really kind of
Just
showed
showed
up.
up. Yeah.
The other ones are like, man, I don't, they'll
Yeah,
figure it out. We'll sign. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
that's what they were like. We'll basically sign whatever you agree to.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
we're
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got some phones to do. I got people in
Yeah.
other countries where we got to put the netting up so they don't kill themselves from working
Yeah.
the 17 hours.
Right.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? We got to,
Just try to
we
figure it
got to
all
bust
out.
a union in order to kind of like just have people like in Manhattan. There's people like meeting in the Midtown Manhattan with like, you know, uh, bags and boxes and backpacks on bikes, delivering, products for, it's like yeah, we're busy doing that. We don't have time for this.
That's right.
So I feel like we're at an interesting time, and we weren't the only ones. The auto industry.
Yep.
Before this, UPS. The airline industry is another one that's going to be going through. They're going to play a game.
Yep.
And they should. These people have losing their fucking mind on planes.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
What happened to just keeping it to yourself?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
What happened to like, I'm going to bite my tongue and not say what I think.
Yeah.
Why don't I just put it in a passive email? Or why don't I just not say that? Why do I feel that other people have given me the license now to freely, so we're at a very interesting, and we're also in a power vacuum. I've been talking about this with my students a lot of like, we're in a time where it's about power. It's not about love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The commodity love is just this, it's just the thing that interrupts hate.
Yep.
So it's like, as opposed to like, people raised in the 60s, like the love generation was like, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
This planet is fucking melting.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we might have already passed the precipice already, and we're just in fucking denial.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is this, doomsday spending spree. There is this, YOLO mentality. You only live once, so I can say and do whatever the fuck I want, and it doesn't matter because I'm not going to be here in 100 years from now. No one's going to remember who the fuck I am anyway. So what's the point?
That's it.
But I do feel like that we have to kind of swing back a little bit, and that's the other thing I loved about Kenny, is that love wins. Love prevails all. Together we win.
That's right.
United, we stand, divided we fall. And there was so much more unification, during these strikes than I've ever seen before in my business.
Agreed.
Even within my own union.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
the point where, the next president's like, no, we're going to be co-presidents. We're not. There is no two factions anymore. And I
Right.
go, yeah, because that's always worked to the advantage of the producers when we're divided.
Yeah.
And even now, all this, there's still people trying to, say no to this contract. And I was just like, come on, man. Oh,
Right.
so everything that we did fight for, if it doesn't pass, then we're going to try to go back to those same people that
Yeah,
already
and
agreed
still-
against. So you think we're going to get a better deal?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
actually, if we don't pass this one, everything that we fought for goes away. We're back at square one.
Yep.
That's the truth.
Yep.
And $10 billion worth of film and television started production, pre-production, the minute the strike was over. But
Yep.
there are 20 shows that started on Monday of this week, the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think if we don't sign the contract that the DGA is going to get behind us, that IATSE is, the Teamsters,
Yep.
the Writers Guild?
Yep.
So we don't sign the contract. So everybody who's been starved out for the last year because these corporate greed, we have no choice. Like this is the deal.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. But every single country, government, corporation, business is dealing with AI. The legalities of it, the human factor of it, the moral issues of it. We're not alone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like just the fact that we have something, we didn't have anything before.
That's right.
But if we don't have this, we are done.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
So I
Completely
mean,
agree.
it's very interesting to see how people that don't really have a vested interest. Justine Bateman, you haven't been an actress since the '80s. If it was your brother, you know what I mean? Jason.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
produces and directs and acts, and he has some issues.
Everywhere.
Then I'll listen
Yeah.
to him, but I'm not listening to an 80s TV star who's now pissed off about AI and was invited to be part of the AI
Yeah.
and then couldn't commit the time. So I'm like, you weren't there, you didn't do the work, but yet you want to like piss in the pot, like pee in the punch.
Right.
So I go, I'm done. And then some caster I've never heard before is like gathering 17, 18,000 followers. Thank you for doing this. The actor, oh my God, I had no idea. I don't know what I'm reading. And I'm like, why are you doing it? What's in it for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. James,
who are you
always
working- who
always
are you
bringing the
working for?
knowledge. He's always bringing the knowledge. That's why
You know
we
what I
love
mean?
having
Like,
you
I kinda
on.
Like, well, I just feel like, we all just want to tell stories, man. We
Yeah.
just want to tell stories and move people's lives and not just influence them on a temporary basis. We want, it was really great being on the red carpet because, and it was good. I wasn't kind of, a lot of them had like these prepared questions. It was like they all kind of got together and go, okay, let's pick these same buzzword questions.
Right.
Right.
So by two or three, I was like, all right, I'm ready for this one. This is good. But the first one, I was like, oh, favorite Christmas movies. Home Alone,
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life,
Yes.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, kind of,
Kinda, sorta. Yeah. Yeah.
like the traveling,
Yep.
Uncle Buck, maybe, like I'm just, you know what I mean? Like I'm scrambling a bit,
Yeah.
but once I got towards the end of the thing, and then I also but I kept going back to like why It's a Wonderful Life works.
Right.
It works because the point of being a human being while you're on this planet is you have no idea how much of an influence you can be on somebody.
Absolutely.
You can change the course of someone's life by something that you said or did.
That's exactly
and most
right.
of the time, the people that are in power are trying to make you feel like you're insignificant and you have no power and you have no control and no influence, and it doesn't matter. And that's why suicides are up and fucking drugs are up. It's like, you're just constantly bombarded with, you're invisible, you're less than, if you don't do these things, if you're not, if you don't follow or you don't like, or you don't, and I feel like It's a Wonderful Life just cuts through all of that bullshit
Yep.
and goes, every person's life is important.
That's right.
One life affects another life. It's a wonderful life. What are you bitching about?
Well, that's the perfect way to end it right there. It's a Wonderful Life. What are you bitching about? Tell everybody. So the movie's out now. It's on Prime, and
it drops on Prime on Friday.
Yep.
They are doing a theatrical today and tomorrow.
Yep.
If you're an Amazon Prime member, you just show your Prime card and you get free tickets. That's the other thing I like about this tie-in, which is, okay, so you're a Prime member, you get benefits.
Right.
But then show your Prime membership at the box office and you walk into the movie theater.
Yeah,
and
that's
the theaters are
fantastic.
like, we love this. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You may not have gotten money at the box office, but this $15 popcorn is really great. And this, 300% markup on soda is really good too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and your kids are going to want all this candy.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it's Candy Cane Lane. You can't not have candy. So like so as much as I may have, issues with, and I love working for Amazon. I did Underground Railroad and that won a, Golden Globe and
exactly.
And they spent a lot of money to do that right and to allow a really great storyteller like Barry Jenkins to tell an incredible really hard fucking story to tell.
Yep.
And to do it and to do it well and to allow him, creative freedom that way. So, as much as there are, it is a business and there are corporations, but there are people in place who really still care about telling a good, important story.
That's right.
And so, and then to be able to kind of change the model a bit where, well, wait a minute, I'm a Prime member, but then I can go to the theater and I get a benefit for that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if I like what I see in the theater, then I can show it to my like, oh, this is good. I can show it to all my family, or people can watch it multiple times.
Exactly.
So I'm a little excited too. And this is all the reason why I'm pushing for this contract is because there is something in this contract that says, if this thing is a hit, I get a little bonus. I get a little bump.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a little bit of acknowledgement to go like, yeah, you told a good story and people really liked it.
That's right.
So we're going to give you a little bonus, a little there's a little extra in your bonus check this week. You know, it's like you go to get your check and you're like, hey, well, you did good.
Yeah.
Good job. You know, so there is something to be said for this interesting model of now we're talking about limited theatrical release, allowing people to use their membership benefits to something that put asses in the seats.
Yep.
These screenings are sold out, which is really fantastic.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know, you're doing it in 2 theaters, so it's, you know, it's I hope it should be sold out. But
Right.
there's something interesting about this model that I think it may be a model that really saves theatrical movie theaters.
Yeah.
I think.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
that they're not just subjected to, $200 million, franchise movies.
Yeah,
You know,
without
maybe,
doubt.
Maybe there's a way in which that you say you get the Sundance Channel and then all of a sudden there's the Sundance release of the movie a little bit beforehand. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. Or there's talk about in the theater, allowing people to watch, the video performance of it. We can change and adapt.
Absolutely.
The way we which you tell stories.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Well, James, it's always a fantastic time when you come
Thank you,
on. It's
brother.
a wonderful life every time.
That's right.
It's a wonderful life. So what are you bitching about?
That's right.
Exactly.
Christmas,
So
right?
what are you bitching about?
That's my next
Everybody
T-shirt
check out-
right
It
there.
is a
Like,
wonderful life.
Yeah.
What do you
Everybody
It
check
hasn't
out
melted
Candy
yet.
Cane Lane. Yes, exactly. But I'm super excited about it because you're amazing, and you guys
Thank you,
know
brother.
anytime you want to come back on, open invite, and we're super happy
appreciate
that we're finally at this point where you can come back on.
Yes.
where we can talk to you because
Right,
we miss these
exactly.
conversations. We miss these.
I know
Conversations.
I did an interview and then just after my interview it was like, yeah, we can't you
Yeah.
can't post it up. You can't
Yep.
put it up there. It was a really good one too. I'm like,
Yeah.
now we have to wait all this time, but still potent, still important. But yeah,
There you
it's
go.
good to really be able to talk and any other questions and stuff you have for me, or we're kind of good to go.
Yeah, no, I think we're good,
man.
my man. Yeah, it's like
We
I
covered
said, you
some
always
territory.
educate, you always
Oh,
drop
yeah.
some knowledge, and also it's always an
We're
entertaining
dropping those gold
conversation,
gems
man.
of buckets of knowledge.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Well, listen, man, keep in touch, and like I said, this will be dropping next week. So
Okay, great.
we're good to go there, and we'll send it along to you so you
Yeah,
can
and I'm a
share
little
it.
more diligent now. Now that I've built up a nice little real followers. Although all my students like, oh no, you just do this and you'll get 10, 20, 30,000. I was like,
Yeah,
I got 8,000 people.
yeah.
They always show up.
There you
They're
go.
real.
That's it.
They interact. They say
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
Like, it's not. They're real 8,000 people.
That's
This is
right.
Like,
Yes.
That's right.
This is a
Exactly.
legit thing because some people are like, oh yeah, I got 22,000 followers or 100,000 followers. I'm like, but you only have 100 views. How do you have 22,000?
Yeah.
people?
Like, how's that working?
Exactly.
How is that? There's something.
Yep.
How's that? And how's that working in the? So for me, I try to keep it legit.
There you go.
Hell
Well,
yeah,
we'll
brother.
send
I
it
gotta
along.
Earn it.
That's
All right,
right.
sounds good. Yeah, and I'll just blow it out. I'll just blast it out.
Fantastic, man.
Thank you guys.
Yep. Take care,
Have a good
buddy.
one, brother. Whew, boy. I mean, I really think we should take away the mantra of the mouth from you and then give it to James because I feel like neither one. We had maybe 2 or 3 sections between both of us that we were able to get something in there. But I mean, my man is awesome. He knows how to cover all the points. He's been doing this for a while, so he knows what to do.
Well, and you know what? He has been doing it for so long, and he's been successful at it, that he's just not scared to say what he thinks, man. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for somebody that will come on, and he's literally on to promote something from Amazon, but then drops it on like what's going on, and you have to respect that. You have to respect that. It's like the man is like, I'm a storyteller, I'm an actor, I want to make a difference in people's lives, and this is a great movie, but let me tell you what I think. There's nobody
that's
like
the thing
James.
with just society and the country and everything in general. Like, you can not like a certain aspect about something, but you don't have to hate them.
Exactly.
Like, full in, full out. Like that. It's just differencing opinions on certain things. And I
Yep.
think that's what he knows more than anyone else. So it's
For
always
sure.
nice to see that different aspect be told in a visual medium like this, to where other people can be like, oh, I don't necessarily have to hate Disney all the way, or have to do all these
No,
things.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm like, I love Bob Iger, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wait a minute, don't you? And Bob Iger literally came out this week and said the people making movies started to go down the wrong path, and they were telling messages instead of just making good movies. And he said we have to go back to where we just make movies, and if they happen to have a positive message for the world, great, but that shouldn't be why we're making them. And so, and
But again, everyone's valued to their own opinion, and it's all good. Like, it's all love. Like, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Everyone out there listening, it's okay to think differently than someone you're talking to.
Well, yeah, the three things to take away from this whole interview with James, right? It's a Wonderful Life. What are you complaining about, right? We all have more things in common than we do apart, and we should just recognize that and all get along. And love always wins.
Always.
If you can take those three things away from this whole interview, you are walking away a better person. And that's all we can ask for. And that's why we love doing this show, man. It's just if we can make one person a better person in this world, it's all worth it, man.
Exactly. This is probably the longest tag ever, just because we didn't get to really talk about it.
I totally feel like we were trying to make up for it. It's like, by the way, hi, it's us.
Well, we love James DuMont, man. He's amazing. Be sure to check out Candy Cane Lane on Amazon Prime with Eddie Murphy. It looks amazing. Honestly, it looks like another classic Christmas movie that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yep.
So be sure to check that out. And thank you again, James DuMont, for coming on the show.